Welcome back to Build the Skatepark. Today we're going to work on practice rails, and we're going to start by building, flat rails, curved rails, whatever kind of rails that you see at the skate park where you can just practice your slides, grinds, smiths, feels, that sort of thing. Okay, let's get started. So it's simple enough to create a straight rail. We'll start with that. So we're going to start by building our sketch pad. So start in the origin, of course. That's where I always start. Press L for line. We're going to go up along the blue axis. Let's make our rail, 1.5. That's about 18 inches. And then the length of this line on the green axis will be the length of our rail. You want them fairly long. So 12 to 16 is probably good. I'm going to do 16. And that does look extremely long, but of course, we're in perspective. Go ahead and triple click that, and right click, make a group. Right? Now from here, we have a few options. First of all, I want to make it, there's several ways we can do this. We can start with a line at the top, but what I want to do is create a little square to draw our circle on. Well, first of all, let's see if we can do a circle on the green axis. Notice you can't. When it's a flat face, you can't really do snap to green, because green is the other axis. There's red, there's blue, no green. So one thing we can do is stretch this out. So I'm going to go inside, press P. It doesn't matter how far we stretch it out. And then you want to click outside the bounding box. So notice when you're in a group, there's a dotted line. That means you're inside the group. When you click outside, now you're outside the group. It's its own component. So for here, press C. This is our circle. And we're going to start in the midpoint. And for a decent sized rail, let's try 0.1. We're trying to mimic the size of pipe. Kind of like making coping, which we've done in other lessons. Press P. And remember to click and release. So now that it follows your mouse, let's snap it to the end of this rectangle. Alright, pretty simple. Now we want to triple click that. Right click. Make a group. So there's our rail, and from here we can easily just make posts, just like we did with the previous rails. But do you want your posts to be square or round? Typically they would be round. So start at origin, press C, just like we did for the rail, and instead of 0.1, let's go a little bit smaller. We'll do like a 0.075. Oh, did not like that. Sorry, I didn't click, that's why. 0.075. Just a tad smaller. Press P, and you're going to click on that surface, and go ahead and snap it to, if you can, the center. Sorry, you could do the center of the circle, or the center of the bottom piece. Let's try the center of the circle. Yeah. Of course, they're not lined up, but that's a very quick and easy fix. Triple click, right click, make a group. Right? So let's go ahead by selecting a rail. Press M. We're going to choose the center. Sometimes it won't let you choose the center, but if you roll your mouse around the edge, notice how it shows the center. And then we're going to move it along the red axis. So hold shift. So it snaps that axis. And we're going to do the same thing here. Choose the center. Again, it may not let you. So you may just have to eyeball it. But that looks like the center to me. Good. Select your post, press M. On this case, you can click anywhere on the screen to move. Just make sure it stays on that green axis. And we're gonna move it in just a tiny bit, maybe, I don't know, 8 inches, 0.67, or a foot. So we need it to support this entire rail. So we're going to do several of these, maybe 3 or 4. Press M again. And notice it's still selected, so hold Control. And see the plus icon? See it disappear and reappear? Plus means copy. So click anywhere on the screen. Release Control. And when I say click, I always mean click and release. It's almost always the case. And move your mouse along the green axis. And let's do, I think 3.5 is probably good. Press enter. And we want several more, so don't type anything else except for X3. Let's try 3. Yeah, sometimes I'm guessing. Alright, we should have went with X4. So you can redo that command or just grab another one. M, Control, let go of Control, and just do another 3.5. There we go. There's our practice rail. Of course, this side is a little bit longer. And if that annoys you, you can easily select them, press M, and kind of eyeball it. There we go. So we have a 16-foot practice rail, about 1.5 feet high. What's next? We select all of it. Right click. Make it a group. Sorry, I did component. But component's actually better. I know I haven't explained those yet. Let's go for it. So to make a component, you right click, make a component, and here's where you can name your objects. Typically I start with a category like rails, banks, transition. I'm going to do rail, or even practice underscore rail, and then I would do, you really don't need to underscore, practice rail 16-foot. Description is not a big deal. You can put a description in there if you want. We're not going to use glue to. This is for, like, you're going to do windows for a house. You make a window and it'll literally snap to any face that your mouse is on. So it'll turn sideways, it'll turn upright. It's pretty cool. Or maybe like a light. You have a light you want to snap to different faces. Works great. Always face camera is not important. So click create. And now we have a component. And then in the future, let's say this is your template. In the future, you can go to your components. Let me close all these. And here you'll find practice rail under P. I think I missed it. There it is. 16-foot. Click it. There it is. Here's a little rail I made that was kind of like a hubba. Let's make this rail. This is kind of a fun one. Okay, so you can delete this now that it's a component. One critical thing when you make components is please save your file. And then later on I'll show you how to make it into a template. Okay, so let's start with our line again. Start at origin. We're going to go up. This one, let's make it 1 foot. And let's do 10 foot across. Snap down, snap, there's our canvas, triple click, make it a group, right? This time we're going to use follow me. So again, you're going to do line, and you're going to click, and this will be the front of your rail. Click at the top, bottom, right? Of course, we could have done that without a canvas, but I like you to know that I prefer to sketch out my shape. Now we're going to do A for arch, and we can either eyeball this. Now first of all, it has 12 sides. It's not bad. Let's try 8 sides. So before you click or do anything, you have to type 8. Let's see how it makes a nice curve. Let me go back. The reason why I keep this canvas here is because it helps you to keep your mouse on the surface that you want. It doesn't really matter where you start your click. There's our curve. I'm sure you're wondering, how do you match this curve to that curve exactly the same since I eyeballed it? Well, easy enough. You can copy. So select this little space that it created, a little face, press M. Use the very end point, hold Control, and click and let go. This is what I found to be the quickest way. Snap it right to the end. You're going to right click, flip along. I think it'll be green direction. Right? Now we're going to do copy again. Hold C, click, snap back to that corner, and now you can double click this face, delete, click on our canvas, delete. Now if you remember from our last lesson, you can also trim. So create a rectangle, preferably the dotted one, and only select the 2 lines you want to delete. Goodbye. Right? I'm sure you notice it's hard to zoom in and out on just a single line. It's better to have that face, so that's why I like that canvas. So now that I have deleted both sides, now we create a circle. Start at origin or endpoint, click and release. And what did I do last time? Point 1. And now we're going to use follow me. So press F. That's not F. F is fillet. Follow me is this little icon right here. If you can't find it, it is also under right here. Yeah, notice there is no keyboard shortcut for this. I wish there was. Follow me. Click on that surface. And it's okay to zoom and rotate camera while you do this. There it is. Practice rail. A nice little curved rail. About the size of typical coping. Triple click. And you're probably wondering, what happened to that line we created? Is it still there? And you know what? I think it is. Yep, still there. So how do we fix that? Well, we can single click on this rail because Follow Me has created its own face following that rail. And actually, can we double click it? Double click does the inside. Right click, make it a group. Now you can move it away. There's your original line, your original circles. Triple click. Oh, that's funny. Sometimes triple click doesn't select everything. Double click, double click. Oops. See how I missed it? It's because it's so far away. Triple click, delete. There you go. So now you can create a component from that. Oh, that's funny. The original one I made is a little bit longer and a little bit bigger. But you get the idea. These are practice rails. Alright, want to try curved one? So for curved, let's do our line again. Start at point of origin. Go up along the blue axis. Let's do the same thing, about 1.5. What do you think? 10 foot? Yeah. Right? Make that a group. We're going to use Q. Now for Q, we're going to rotate this, but we're going to copy. So make sure it's on the blue axis at the origin. You click and release. And then you're going to click on this edge. Any edge along the bottom will be fine. So it rotates, but once you hold Control, it creates a copy. You see that? Now this may be way too big, but let's find out. So we're going to do an arch, but 8 sides for a curve this big is way too small. Let's do 24. So press 24 on the keyboard, enter. And click on the one corner and the next corner so you make a curved edge. When it turns green, that means it's a perfect right angle curve, right? Now what I should have done it a bit short. So let's go into one of these. We're going to click once on the end. We're using this as a guideline. Do the same thing, move and copy. Let's do 1 foot. That's why I call it a canvas, because you're sketching. Same thing here. Just make sure it stays on the right axis, 1 foot. Let's do our arch again. Clicky click. Green line. Well, sometimes I won't see that green line. It's really important where your mouse follows. Right? I think 1 foot might have been too far, because that's going to make a very big curve coming down, since our rail is only 1.5 feet high. So let's go back, undo those. I'm doing Control Z. Let's do 0.5. It's a quick and painless way to make little guidelines. We do this so we can snap our arch to that angle, right? Good. Now we're going to do an arch here again. Sometimes you have to reset. I press space to reset it because you can't change the sides. We don't want 24 sides. Let's do 8. Yeah, where's my arch? Where is it? There it is. Eyeball it. It's kind of hard to see the end point. And what you might find out later on is that maybe you didn't click exactly on the corner and there's a little tiny gap, or there's a little tiny line. If that happens, you can trim it or just redraw it. So sometimes what happens when you do the follow me, it'll just stop and it won't continue. It's because there's a little tiny gap that you can't see with your eye. You have to zoom in. So sometimes when follow me doesn't work, it's exactly what's happening. Right? Now if we want the same circle, same curve we have here, we could do that copy. But notice it didn't create a face for us. Should have, but it didn't. Another way we could do it is select. I'm holding shift to select more than one line. But you know what, I prefer doing a face. For some reason a face just seems easier. Point to point. That's what we want. Copy. Now you already know what's going to happen. You're going to paste it. And guess what? It's it. Whoops. You see what I did? I didn't click exactly on, I didn't snap it to the corner, so it just pasted right where my mouse was. Whoops. Paste. Try that again. So as you can see, it's not the right angle. So now we have to rotate it. But this is easy. It's only a 90-degree rotation. Press Q. Make sure your compass is on the blue axis. Click once. Now, it doesn't matter where you start, but I try to start the same angle that my object is in, which is on the green axis. Click. Rotate to the red axis. There you go. Now it's as simple as pressing M to move. And snap it down. So see how we have our duplicate curve here? Feel free to delete these canvases. So once you do the work ahead of time, it makes it very easy. See how it doesn't snap here? It makes it very easy to complete, the rest of your object. So how would we snap to the same line here, vertically here? Ooh, do you see that? From point. Nice feature. Otherwise, you would hold Shift and just put your mouse on this edge. You're not making a line to this edge, you're just using it as a snap reference. Now you can simply draw a little rectangle, delete the rest of our face here. What's next? Circle. The 24 sides is way too much. Let's do 12. Make sure you're at the end point. Click and release. Point 1. Alright, now we're going to do follow me. Sometimes it's hard to do it from this far out, so you can zoom in. There we go. There is our curved practice rail. But you know what? It's really not done. You would slide this thing, and it would bend right in the middle, right? There's nothing holding it up. So what do we do next? Let's make this a group first. And we're going to move it out of the way. Whenever you move something to a precise location, always type in the number. So I'm going to do, let's see, 20. That's pretty good. Now we're going to find the center point of this curve. It's proving to be difficult. I was close there, it said midpoint. But is it talking about the midpoint of that line or the midpoint of the curve? Hard to know. Because remember, our curve is made of lines. I'm going to eyeball it. 1.5. Oh yeah, that's great. See what I did? Wrong axis. See, undo, try again. Make sure it's on the z-axis, 1.5. There we go, close enough, right? I mean, if you're engineering, you want it to be exact, because it has to be weight, load balancing for weight. So it might even be better to have 2. But for the sake of not arguing, wait a second. That should be good. 0.1. Just going to do press and pull. Double click. Going to do move. Let's see what happens when you don't hit control. It wants to move the whole thing. They're stuck together. I'll do 20. Now there's a chance that that might be good enough. I mean, yeah, I made it too big. So, let's fix it. C. Make sure on that blue axis, 0.075. Press and pull, 1.5. Double click just the face only. It will grab the top and the bottom, but that's okay. M, you can click anywhere, press control, keep it on that red axis, and 20, enter. There you go, it looks better. Now you have a little more surface for your Smith grinds, feeble grinds. Make a group. Select all. Make a component. Practice rail. Curved. Create. There you go. So now you can fill your skate park with practice rails. Delete your sketch work. 16-foot rail. Pretty fun, right? Alright, go ahead and start being creative and make some other rails. You can make a rail that goes up in the middle, so you have like a 1-foot spot. It goes up. You have a 18-inch area, you know, so you slide up or slide down, but it's still a practice rail. Or like this one, I call it triangle, but you can slide down it or slide up it and down it. Have fun, be creative.